So in this video, we are gonna do two things. The first thing is we are gonna add a remember me checkbox and a sign in button and the copyright symbol. And in the next video, we will work on the alignment to make sure that the page looks completely like this. Okay, so basically we have three things to do in this video, and I will jump to Visual Studio Code. And what I do is I add three div elements, okay, with class form group. Okay, so basically each element or each item within a form needs to have this class. So first I will have that and make my structure ready. Okay, so this is second one and this is third one. Okay, so I have three things to do. And the first one, if you see what is the first one I need to do, I need to add two things. So within that one form group, I need to have two things. Okay, the first one is an input of type checkbox. The second one is a label. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a label, okay, the entire thing, and within that I'm gonna add this checkbox. So to see that, just observe. So within the first form group, basically I will have a label over here, and within the label tag I'm gonna add an input of type is nothing but a checkbox, because we need a checkbox, and the value of the checkbox, the value I will give it as remember me. Okay, so that is just a value for some purpose we are not going to use it, so remember me. Okay, and I will close this checkbox, or rather I will close this input type input field. Okay, but note that we are still within the label tag, and within the label tag after the input field, what I will do is I will write remember me. Okay, so let me save it and look for the output, and you know that we are getting the same way that we want. Okay, the next one that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a button. Okay, so let me go to Visual Studio Code, and within this one I'm gonna add a button class, or rather a button element. Okay, again there are many ways to do that. You can also do with input type equal to button, or you can use the button tag itself. It doesn't matter which one you use as long as you're getting a button that you want. Okay, so button will have a class. Okay, we'll have lots of classes. We'll talk about these classes in just a bit. The type is nothing but submit. Okay, so the type of button can be anything. It can be button, menu, reset, submit. Okay, so since we are going to post the data to the server, actually we are not going to post the data, but usually login forms post the data to the server, so it's going to be submit. Okay, and then I'm going to say here sign in. Okay, so let me save that. That's it, we have not done anything. This is plain HTML. Okay, so let me refresh that. You get a button which is which your browser knows, like the button that usually you'll get when you do not have any stylings applied. But what to do to get a button of this type? Okay, so to get a button of this type you need to apply a bootstrap class. So before applying that, I will want to show you the different bootstrap classes that are available for your button, so that you get a good idea. So if you have any doubt on any of the bootstrap, just go to getbootstrap.com, and they have a really good documentation. Okay, so if you see here, button should be of type button, and the class, first thing you need to apply it as btn, so that indicates that it is a button. And if you want the blue one, you just say button primary. If you want some kind of ash, you say button secondary. If you want a green one, say success. Red one, say danger, and so on. Okay, and there are also some buttons that have only the layout. Okay, for that you need to use button outline primary. Okay, so you can use any of these. Again, there are lots like button large, button small, LG for large, SM for small. So there are lots of classes that you can go ahead and use, and we will use whatever is required for our purposes here. Okay, so you saw that if it is a button, we definitely need to use btn, and then I will say btn large. Okay, because I guess we need to have a large button, and this is indeed a large button. Okay, and then you need to say button primary. Okay, because it's a blue color, right? And save it. Okay, so let me refresh that page, and you get similar to what we want. But there is some issue over here, because you see this button is really big, and this button basically spans the entire width of your uh, text boxes. Okay, so if you see, this button completely corresponds to or completely spans the entire width of your text box. Okay, but if you see this button, this text box is really big, and button is small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another bootstrap class, which is button hyphen block. So what button hyphen block does is that it makes sure the button spans the entire width of your form. Okay, so I will refresh it now, and I get a button that basically spans my entire width of my form. Okay, but do not worry, anyway we are gonna shorten this. We are going to reduce the width of the form. So if you reduce the width of the form, the width of each element within the form will decrease, and in that scenario your button should decrease in size as well. Okay, so we are done with remember me, sign in, and the last thing that we need to do is we need to have a copyright. Okay, so let me go into Visual Studio Code, and within the last element, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that within a paragraph. Okay, and within the paragraph, what I'm going to do is I need to print out the copyright symbol. Okay, so I need to print out this symbol. So to print out that symbol, you basically need to say ampersand copy. Okay, so that will basically print out your copyright symbol. Okay, so if you see, it has printed out the copyright symbol. And if you go to the HTML documentation, there are lots and lots of different symbols that you can print it out using HTML, and their code as well. Okay, so let me go to Visual Studio, and after copyright, basically what I need is I need 2017 to 2018. Okay, so let me give a space, 2017 to 2018. Okay, so let me save that. Okay, and let me refresh this page. I get what I want, but if you see, the color of this is slightly different. Okay, and it is, this color is normal, but if you see, this color is not normal, this is kind of faded. Okay, so to make it this way, you need to use another bootstrap class. Okay, note that if you're not working with bootstrap, you need to figure out what needs to be the color. You need to go and give your own color to make it look that way. Okay, but with bootstrap, we will not be tampering with any of the CSS properties. I mean, mostly, I mean, if you want, you can add your own custom CSS, but bootstrap gives you so many options that you need not actually go and write any of your class. You just need to use some of those classes, so you get that color. So to get that color, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the text is muted. So I'm going to add the class. Okay, so I'm saying text is muted. Okay, so you see this color, and you see this one, and let me refresh that, and you see the color has indeed changed. Okay, but if you see, there is a lot of space between sign in button and this copyright symbol. Okay, there is very less space between this sign in button and copyright symbol here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a margin. Okay, so what I'm going to say is I'm going to say margin top of 5, and I'm gonna add the margin bottom as well. Okay, close it and refresh that page, and if you see, it looks better. And note that we have completed everything with respect to our vertical layout. Okay, of course if you look at horizontally, it doesn't really match. Okay, so we will work on that. We just need to work on some css. We need to uh, define our own custom css to make it look this way. Okay, so we will do that in the next video tutorial. So as part of this project, whatever we need to work with Bootstrap is done. So in the next, we need to work exclusively with CSS to make sure that this page looks exactly like this. Thank you.